Admiral Hyun-woo stood in the command center of Earth's main defense station. His weathered face showed no emotion as he watched the small diplomatic ship return from deep space. The ship looked tiny against the vast darkness of space, but it carried the most important message in human history. The ship docked with a soft thud. Admiral Hyun-woo walked to the airlock and waited. The door opened with a hiss, and Ambassador So-min stepped out. Her formal diplomatic clothes were wrinkled from the long journey. Dark circles under her eyes showed how tired she was. "How did it go?" Admiral Hyun-woo asked. So-min shook her head slowly. "They laughed at us. The whole Galactic Council thought our warning was a joke." She pulled out a small recording device and played it back. Alien voices filled the air, speaking in their translated language. The voices sounded amused and dismissive. "The humans think they can threaten us," one alien voice said with clear amusement. "These primitive creatures believe their tiny planet matters." Another alien voice joined in. "Their technology is thousands of years behind ours. What could they possibly do to us?" The recording played the voice of the Talvera representative, the species that led the Galactic Council. "Earth is nothing, more than a small rock with angry animals on it. If they cause trouble, we will simply remove them." So-min turned off the recording. "I delivered our message exactly as you told me to. I said that Earth would defend itself if anyone attacked us. I warned them that we were not as weak as they thought." Admiral Hyun-woo nodded, and they ignored the warning. Worse than ignored it, they mocked it. The Talvera representative said they might send a fleet just to teach us a lesson about respect. Admiral Hyun-woo walked to the large window that looked out into space. Earth hung in the distance, a beautiful blue and green sphere. It looked peaceful and defenseless from here. "Did you tell them about our capabilities?" he asked. I hinted. "At it, as you instructed." But they refused to believe that humans could have developed anything dangerous. They think we are still using primitive rockets and nuclear weapons. On the other side of the solar system, Captain Jin-ho sat in his research vessel called the Determination. His job was to monitor alien communications and gather intelligence. His equipment picked up signals from across the galaxy. Jin-ho wore headphones and listened carefully to the alien transmissions. Most of it was routine communication between their ships and planets. But today, he heard something different. "This is Fleet Command to the 9th Fleet," an alien voice said. "You are ordered to proceed to the Sol system for a demonstration mission." Jin-ho sat up straighter. Sul was the name aliens used for Earth's solar system. Another voice responded. "Understood, Fleet Command. The 9th Fleet will show these humans what happens when inferior species make threats against the Galactic Council." Jin-ho quickly recorded the transmission and sent it to Earth's defense headquarters. His hands shook slightly as he typed the urgent message. The 9th Fleet was famous across the galaxy. It had destroyed entire civilizations without losing a single ship. Back on Earth, General Hae-won received Jin-ho's message in her underground command bunker. The bunker was buried deep beneath the mountains of Korea, hidden from alien detection. Dozens of officers and technicians worked at computer stations around her. "Ma'am, we have confirmation," her aide reported. "The 9th Fleet is moving toward our system. Intelligence estimates they will arrive in 72 hours. General Hae-won looked at the tactical display. It showed the positions of human forces throughout the solar system. To most people, it would look like humanity had very few defenses. A handful of space stations, some patrol ships, and the main fleet near Earth. "How many ships in the 9th Fleet?" she asked. 847. "Vessels, ma'am, including 12 dreadnoughts and 36 battle cruisers." Their flagship is the Devastator, commanded by Fleet Commander Vex Nara. General Hai Wan smiled grimly. Vex Nara, the butcher of 3 star systems. The aliens are sending their best. Ma'am, should we begin evacuation procedures? No evacuations. Send the activation codes to all hidden facilities. It's time to wake up our sleeping giants. Across Earth, secret installations began to come online. These facilities had been built in complete secrecy over the past 30 years. They were hidden underground, underwater, and in remote locations where alien surveillance could not detect them. Dr. Min Su worked in one such facility beneath the city of Seoul. His laboratory looked like something from a science fiction movie. Advanced computers lined the walls, and strange machines hummed with energy. He and his team had spent decades developing weapons and defenses that no alien species had ever seen. The activation codes just came through, his assistant reported. All systems are green. Dr. Min Su nodded and walked to a large red button on the wall. He had waited 20 years to press this button. Begin final preparations for Protocol 7. The laboratory suddenly came alive with activity. Robotic arms began assembling weapons components. Massive screens showed technical diagrams and battle plans. The work that had been done in secret for so long was finally ready to be revealed. Meanwhile, Captain Yu Jin prepared her fighter squadron at a hidden base on the dark side of Earth's moon. Her pilots were young men and women who had trained their entire lives for this moment. They did not use normal fighter tactics. Instead, they had learned to fight in ways that no alien species would expect. "Listen up," Yujin told her pilots during their final briefing. "The aliens think they know how space battles work. They use big ships in formation. They fight with honor and follow predictable patterns." The pilots listened carefully. They had heard this speech before, but today it was real. "We don't fight like that," Yujin continued. "We are going to confuse them, surprise them, and hit them where they don't expect it. Remember your training. Use Earth's gravity wells, hide in the asteroid belt, make them guess where you are." Lieutenant Tae-hyun monitored the deep space sensors from his station on Pluto. His equipment could detect ships from very far away. He watched as hundreds of alien vessels appeared on his screens, moving steadily toward Earth. "This is Outpost 7 to Earth Command," he reported. "The 9th Fleet has entered our outer detection range. They are not hiding their approach. Formation suggests standard battle doctrine." Tae-hyun studied the alien fleet formation. It was exactly what human intelligence had predicted. The aliens arranged their ships in a classic attack pattern, with the largest vessels in the center and smaller ships protecting the flanks. "They think this will be easy," he muttered to himself. Back on Earth, Admiral Hyunwoo called a meeting of all senior commanders. They gathered in the secure briefing room deep underground. The walls were lined with maps and tactical displays. "The moment we have prepared for is here," he announced. "The 9th Fleet approaches with the intention of destroying Earth. They believe we are helpless." The commanders looked tense but determined. "We will let them keep thinking that, Admiral," Hyunwoo continued. "Our first priority is to make them underestimate us even more than they already do. We want them confident and careless." General Hai Wan spoke up. "All hidden assets are ready. The enemy has no idea what they are walking into." "Good. Remember, we only get one chance at this. If we fail, humanity dies. If we succeed, we send a message that will be heard across the galaxy." Admiral Han-woo looked at each commander in turn. "The aliens gave us a final warning. Now we give them one. But they will never hear it coming." Fleet Commander Vex Nara stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Devastator, The massive ship was 5 kilometers long and carried enough firepower to destroy a small moon. Around him, his crew worked at their stations with quiet efficiency. They had done this many times before. "Status report," Vex Nara commanded. "All ships report ready, Fleet Commander," his second officer replied. "The Ninth Fleet is maintaining formation and will reach the human system in 60 hours. Vex Nara looked at the tactical display. 847 ships moved through space in perfect order. Dreadnoughts, battle cruisers, destroyers, and support vessels. It was the most powerful fleet in the galaxy. "What do we know about human defenses?" Vex Nara asked. His intelligence officer stepped forward. "Very little, sir. Our scans show approximately 50 ships near their home planet. Most appear to be cargo vessels or small patrol craft. They have several space stations, but nothing that could threaten even one of our destroyers." Vex Nara nodded with satisfaction. "As expected, the humans made threats they cannot back up. This will be a simple extermination." The intelligence officer continued his report. "The humans use primitive nuclear fusion engines and basic energy weapons. Their largest warship is only 800 meters long. Our smallest destroyer is larger than that. Any signs of advanced technology?" "None detected, sir. They appear to be at least 2,000 years behind us in development. They only achieved faster-than-light travel 50 years ago." Vex Nara walked to the main viewing screen. It showed the darkness of space, ahead with distant stars twinkling like tiny lights. Soon, one of those lights would be the human sun. "Send a message to Galactic Council headquarters," he ordered. "Tell them we will broadcast the destruction of Earth to all member species. Let this be a lesson about what happens when primitives threaten their betters." On Earth, Dr. Minsu made final adjustments to his secret weapons. His laboratory was now fully active, with hundreds of technicians working around the clock. They moved between workstations, checking systems and loading ammunition into devices the aliens had never seen. "How are the gravity mines?" Dr. Minsu asked his chief engineer. "All 500 units are ready and deployed, sir. They are invisible to standard alien sensors and will activate on your command." Dr. Minsu smiled. Gravity mines were a human invention that used Earth's understanding of gravitational physics. When activated, they could trap enemy ships or tear them apart with artificial gravity fields. "What about the solar collectors?" "Online and charging, sir. We should have full power within 12 hours. The solar collectors were another human innovation. They gathered energy directly from the sun and could focus it into devastating beam weapons. The aliens used fusion reactors, but humans had learned to use the star itself as a power source. Captain Yu Jin conducted her final pilot training session on the hidden moon base. Her squadron of fighters was unlike anything the aliens had encountered. The ships were small and fast, designed for hit-and-run tactics rather than direct combat. "Remember, we are not trying to outgun them," Yu Jin explained to her pilots. "We are trying to outthink them. Use the asteroid belt for cover. Hide behind planets. Make them chase you into our traps." The pilots nodded. They had trained for this since they were children. Each one could pilot their fighter with incredible skill, using Earth's unique gravitational environment to perform maneuvers impossible in normal space. "The aliens fight in formation," Yu Jin continued. "They expect us to do the same. Instead, we scatter. We attack from all directions at once. We make them confused and afraid." Pilot Na Young raised her hand. "What if they try to surround us?" "Then, we lead them where we want them to go. Every part of this solar system has been prepared for battle. There is nowhere they can go that we haven't planned for." Back in the alien fleet, Vex Nara reviewed the battle plan with his commanders. They sat around a large table in the conference room of the Devastator. Holographic displays showed the human solar system and the planned attack routes. "We will approach the human planet from 3 directions," Vexnara explained. "The first battle group will attack their space stations. The second battle group will destroy any ships that try to escape. The third battle group will bombard the planet itself." His commanders looked bored. They had conquered dozens of worlds using similar tactics. This would be no different from destroying any other primitive species. "What about prisoners?" one commander asked. "No prisoners. The Galactic Council wants the humans completely eliminated. We will leave no survivors to cause trouble in the future." Another commander spoke up. "Should we offer them a chance to surrender?" Vexnara considered this. "Perhaps. It would be amusing to see them beg for mercy before we destroy them. Send a surrender demand when we reach their system." On Earth, Lieutenant Tae-hyun tracked the approaching alien fleet from his monitoring station. His screens showed the enemy ships getting closer every hour. He could see their formation and estimate their weapons. "Earth Command, this is Outpost 7, he reported. "The alien fleet is maintaining standard attack formation. No sign they suspect any hidden defenses." The reply came quickly. "Understood, Outpost 7. Continue monitoring. Do not reveal your position." Tae-hyun smiled grimly. The aliens had no idea that humans had been watching them for decades. Every ship type, every weapon system, every tactical doctrine had been studied and analyzed. Humanity knew the enemy better than the enemy knew itself. Dr. Jae Sung worked in another secret facility hidden beneath the Pacific Ocean. His team had developed weapons that used principles the aliens had never discovered. They combined human understanding of physics with captured alien technology to create something entirely new. "The quantum disruptors are ready," his assistant reported. "All targeting systems are locked onto the alien fleet's projected course." "Excellent. And the phase shifters?" "Deployed and cloaked. The aliens will fly right into them without knowing they are there." Dr. Jae-sung had spent his career studying how to defeat technologically superior enemies. The key was not to fight them directly, but to use their own advantages against them. The larger and more powerful their ships were, the more vulnerable they became to the right kind of attack. Meanwhile, Captain Dong-min prepared his pilots for the first wave of defense. His squadron would be the first humans the aliens encountered in battle. Their job was to make the enemy overconfident while gathering intelligence about alien tactics. "We need to look weak, but not completely helpless," he explained to his pilots. "Fight hard enough to seem like a real threat, but not so hard that they realize what we can really do." The pilots understood. They would sacrifice some of their ships to maintain the deception. It was a difficult job, but necessary for the larger plan to work. Admiral Hyun-woo watched all these preparations from his command center. Reports came in from across the solar system as human forces moved into position. Everything had to be perfectly timed. "Status report from all sectors," he ordered. "Sector 1 reports ready. Hidden weapon platforms are online and targeting systems are active." "Sector 2 reports ready. Fighter squadrons are deployed and waiting for orders." "Sector 3 reports ready. All trap systems are armed and concealed." Admiral Hyun-woo nodded with satisfaction. 30 years of secret preparation were about to be tested. The aliens thought they were attacking a helpless planet. Instead, they were flying into the most elaborate military trap in galactic history. "Send word to all commanders," he said. "The enemy arrives soon. Remember, we only get one chance to surprise them. Make it count." The Ninth Fleet arrived at the edge of Earth's solar system like a storm of metal and death. 847 alien warships dropped out of faster-than-light travel in perfect formation. Their hulls gleamed in the light of the distant sun, and their weapons powered up with ominous energy signatures. Fleet Commander Vex Nara stood on his bridge and looked at the tactical display. The human solar system spread before him like a target waiting to be destroyed. He could see the small blue planet that housed billions of primitive creatures who had dared to threaten the Galactic Council. "Begin scanning for enemy forces," Vex Nara commanded. His sensors officer worked quickly at his station. "Sir, I detect approximately 50 human vessels near their home planet. Most appear to be civilian ships. There are also 7 space stations and what looks like a small defense grid." Vex Nara laughed coldly. "That's all? No wonder they call these creatures primitive." On Earth, Director Eun-ji sat in the Global Defense Coordination Center deep beneath the Korean mountains. Her technicians monitored every alien ship as they entered the solar system. The main screen showed the massive enemy fleet in red, while human forces appeared as tiny green dots. "Ma'am, we're receiving a transmission from the alien flagship," her communications officer reported. "Put it on screen." The image of Fleet Commander Vex Nara appeared on the main display. He was a tall, reptilian creature with dark scales and cold yellow eyes. His uniform was decorated with medals from dozens of conquered worlds. "Humans of Earth," Vex Nara announced in a voice full of arrogance. "I am Fleet Commander Vex Nara of the Galactic Council's 9th Fleet. You have made threats against your betters. This will not be tolerated." Director Eun-ji listened calmly as the alien commander continued his speech. "You have 72 hours to surrender unconditionally. All human military forces must power down their weapons and submit to Galactic Council authority. If you refuse, your species will be eliminated completely." The transmission ended, leaving the command center in silence. Director Eun-ji stood up slowly and walked to the communications console. "Open a channel to the alien fleet," she ordered. "Channel open, ma'am." Director Eun-ji looked directly into the camera. Her expression was calm and professional, showing no fear at all. "Fleet Commander Vex Nara, this is Director Eun-ji of Earth's Global Defense Council. We have received your demands and considered them carefully." She paused for a moment, letting the aliens wait for her response. "Proposal denied. Prepare for consequences." The transmission ended. In the command center, several technicians smiled grimly. Director Eun-ji had just delivered humanity's final message to an enemy that still believed humans were helpless. The alien flagship. Vex Nara stared at the blank screen in disbelief. His bridge crew looked equally shocked. No primitive species had ever refused surrender when facing the 9th Fleet. "Did she just threaten us?" his second officer asked. Vex Nara's eyes glowed with anger. "The foolish creature doesn't understand what she faces." "Very well. We will teach these humans about power." He turned to his weapons officer. "Target their outer defense platforms. Destroy them completely. Let the humans see what happens to those who defy the Galactic Council." "Yes, sir. Targeting outer platforms now." The 9th Fleet moved deeper into the solar system. Their massive ships formed into attack formation, with the largest dreadnoughts in the center and smaller vessels protecting the flanks. Energy weapons charged with deadly light as they prepared to demonstrate their overwhelming superiority. Captain Dong Min waited in his fighter near one of the outer defense platforms. His squadron of 12 ships was hidden behind a large asteroid, watching as the alien fleet approached. These platforms looked like simple defensive structures, but they held secrets the aliens could never imagine. "Alpha Squadron, this is Control," came the voice over his radio. "Enemy fleet is in range. Prepare for first contact." "Understood, Control. Alpha Squadron ready." Captain Dongmin watched as the alien weapons fired. Massive energy beams shot across space toward the defense platforms. The aliens expected these weapons to destroy the platforms instantly. Instead, something impossible happened. The platforms absorbed the alien energy beams completely. The weapons that should have vaporized them did nothing at all. Then the platforms returned fire with weapons that made the alien attacks look like flashlights. Beams of pure gravitational force struck the alien ships. These weapons didn't just damage the hulls, they twisted the metal and crushed the internal structure. 3 alien destroyers were completely destroyed in the first exchange of fire. On the alien flagship, chaos erupted on the bridge. "Sir, we've lost 3 ships!" the tactical officer reported in panic. "The human weapons are... I don't understand how they work." Vexnara stared at his tactical display. The symbols showing 3 of his destroyers had simply vanished. Ships that had survived hundreds of battles were gone in seconds. "What kind of weapons are those?" he demanded. "Unknown, sir. Our sensors can't identify the energy signatures. It's like nothing in our database." Fleet Commander Vexnara felt something he had never experienced before in battle: uncertainty. The humans were supposed to be primitive. Their weapons were supposed to be weak. This was not going according to plan. "All ships return fire. Concentrate everything on those platforms." The entire 9th Fleet opened fire at once. Thousands of energy beams and missiles flew toward the human defense platforms. The space around them filled with explosions and deadly radiation. But the platforms kept fighting. Their shields deflected most of the alien attacks, and their weapons continued to tear through alien ships with terrifying efficiency. Captain Dongmin chose this moment to attack. "Alpha Squadron, engage the enemy!" His 12 fighters burst from their hiding place behind the asteroid. They moved in a formation the aliens had never seen before, using the gravity of nearby planets to change direction in impossible ways. The alien ships tried to target the human fighters, but they couldn't predict their movements. The fighters seemed to ignore the normal laws of physics, appearing in one place and then suddenly somewhere else entirely. Na-Young, one of Captain Dongmin's pilots, flew her fighter directly through the middle of the alien formation. Her ship was tiny compared to the massive alien vessels, but she used that to her advantage. She flew between their hulls too close for their big weapons to target her. "This is impossible!" the alien weapons officer shouted. "These primitive fighters are flying patterns that make no sense." Vexnara watched in growing alarm as his fleet struggled to fight an enemy they didn't understand. The human fighters were somehow using the solar system's gravity to perform maneuvers that violated everything he knew about space combat. "Sir, we're receiving damage reports from all battle groups," his communications officer reported. "The enemy is using unknown technology. Our standard tactics are not effective." "How many ships have we lost?" 17 destroyed, 23 heavily damaged. Vexnara couldn't believe what he was hearing. The 9th Fleet had lost more ships in this one battle than in their last 10 conquests combined, and they were fighting primitive humans. Dr. Min-Su watched the battle from his hidden control center. His gravity weapons were performing exactly as designed. The aliens used energy shields that could stop energy beams and missiles, but they had no defense against weapons that manipulated gravity itself. "Phase 2. Weapons are ready," his assistant reported. "Not yet," Dr. Min-Su replied. Let them think this is all we have. We want them angry and careless. Admiral Hyun-woo monitored the battle from Earth's main command center. The first phase was working perfectly. The aliens were confused and taking casualties, but they weren't retreating yet. He needed them to commit more fully to the attack. "Status report from outer sectors," he requested. "Sectors 2 and 3 report ready. All hidden assets remain undetected." "Good. Let the enemy come closer. We want them deep in our system before we spring the real trap." Fleet Commander Vex Nara made the decision that would doom his fleet. Instead of retreating to regroup and study this unexpected resistance, his pride and anger drove him forward. "All ships, advance to the inner system," he commanded. "Crush these humans completely." The Ninth Fleet moved deeper toward Earth, not knowing they were flying into the most elaborate military trap ever created. Admiral Hyun-woo watched the alien fleet advance deeper into the solar system. On his tactical display, 830 ships moved in formation toward Earth. They had lost 17 vessels in the first battle, but they still believed they held overwhelming advantage. "Range to target?" Admiral Hyun-woo asked. "Enemy fleet will reach optimal position in 20 minutes, sir," his tactical officer replied. Admiral Hyun-woo nodded and reached for the red phone on his command console. This was the moment 30 years of secret preparation had built toward. "All stations, this is Admiral Hyun-woo. Activate Protocol 7. I repeat, activate Protocol 7. Across the solar system, hidden facilities received the activation code. Underground bases on Earth powered up massive systems. Secret installations on the moon revealed concealed weapons. Space stations that looked empty suddenly came alive with activity. But the most dramatic change happened in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. What the aliens thought was empty space began to swarm with activity. Thousands of small human vessels emerged from hiding places among the asteroids. They had been waiting there for weeks, their engines powered down and their hulls camouflaged to look like space rocks. Now they activated their systems and prepared for battle. Fleet Commander Vex Nara stared at his tactical display in shock. The number of human contacts had suddenly jumped from 50 to over 3,000. Small ships were appearing everywhere, surrounding his fleet on all sides. "Where did they come from?" he demanded. "Unknown, sir," his sensor officer replied, his voice shaking. "They were not there a moment ago. It's like they materialized out of nothing." Vex Nara studied the tactical display more carefully. The human ships were not arranged in any formation he recognized. Instead of forming battle lines like civilized military forces, they spread out in a chaotic pattern that made no tactical sense. "Sir, the human vessels are swarming," his tactical officer reported. "They're moving in random patterns. I cannot predict their attack vectors." Pilot Nae Young led Alpha Squadron as part of the massive swarm. Her fighter was one of 3,000 small vessels that now surrounded the alien fleet. Each ship was tiny compared to the alien vessels, but together they formed a cloud of death that moved with deadly purpose. "All squadrons, this is Swarm Control," came the voice over the radio. "Execute Pattern Delta. Confuse the enemy. Make them waste their ammunition on shadows." Nae Young smiled and pushed her fighter into a spiraling dive toward the nearest alien cruiser. Her ship's computer calculated a flight path that used the gravitational pull of 3 different asteroids. To the aliens, it would look like she was flying randomly. The alien ship tried to target her with its point defense weapons, but the computer couldn't calculate where she would be next. Her fighter seemed to dance through space, appearing in one location, and then suddenly somewhere else entirely. Behind her, 50 other human fighters followed similar paths. Each one used different gravitational influences to create unpredictable movement patterns. The alien gunners fired desperately, but their shots went wide as the human ships danced around them. Captain Boram commanded a group of larger human vessels that had been hidden on the far side of Jupiter. These ships were bigger than the fighters, but still much smaller than alien capital ships. They moved in coordinated groups, using tactics the aliens had never encountered. "Tiger Group, execute harassment protocol," Boram ordered. Her ships accelerated toward the alien fleet's left flank. Instead of attacking directly, they fired their weapons and then immediately changed direction. The aliens tried to return fire, but the human ships were already moving to new positions. It was like fighting a swarm of angry bees. Every time the aliens concentrated their fire on one group of human ships, 3 more groups attacked from different directions. The humans never stayed in one place long enough to be targeted effectively. Dr. J. Sung activated his experimental weapons from his secret base on Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. His quantum disruptors were designed to exploit weaknesses in alien shield technology that the enemy didn't even know existed. "Quantum disruptors are locked onto target," his weapons officer reported. Fire when ready. Invisible beams of quantum energy struck the alien ships. The weapons passed right through their energy shields as if they weren't there. The beams disrupted the molecular structure of the alien hulls, causing catastrophic failures in their vital systems. 3 alien battlecruisers suddenly lost power and began drifting helplessly. Their crews didn't understand what had happened. All their systems simply stopped working at once. On the alien flagship, panic was starting to spread among the bridge crew. Fleet Commander Vex Nara watched his tactical display as more and more of his ships reported damage or system failures. "Sir, we've lost another 6 ships," his communications officer reported. "Battle Group 2 is requesting permission to retreat and regroup." "Retreat?" Vex Nara roared. "The 9th Fleet does not retreat from primitive creatures." But even as he spoke, he could see that this battle was unlike anything he had ever experienced. The humans were not fighting like any military force he had encountered. They had no formations, no predictable tactics, no honor in combat. Instead, they fought like a pack of wild animals, attacking from all directions at once. Every time his ships tried to establish a battle line, the humans simply flowed around it like water. When his forces concentrated in one area, the humans attacked somewhere else. Sergeant Wu Jin led a specialized team of human Marines who had trained for zero-gravity combat their entire lives. Their job was the most dangerous of all. They had to board alien ships and capture them from the inside. "Boarding shuttles away," Wu Jin reported as his team launched from a hidden base near Saturn. The small shuttles were designed to look like space debris. They drifted toward the alien ships, while powered down, invisible to enemy sensors. When they got close enough, magnetic clamps attached them to the alien hulls. Wu Jin and his Marines cut through the alien hull with plasma torches and entered the ship through unexpected entry points. The aliens had designed their ships to resist boarding attacks from normal airlocks, but the humans came through maintenance shafts and cargo bays. "Team Alpha is inside," Wu Jin reported, moving toward the engine room. The alien crew was completely unprepared for boarders. They had shields and weapons to fight other ships, but they never expected enemy soldiers inside their own vessel. Wu Jin's team moved through the corridors like ghosts, striking at critical systems and then disappearing before the aliens could respond. Captain Yu Jin coordinated the fighter swarms from her command ship hidden behind Earth's moon. She watched Thousands of small human vessels dart between the massive alien ships like insects around giants. Swarm Alpha, concentrate on the enemy flagship, she ordered. Make them think we're trying to destroy their command ship. Hundreds of fighters immediately changed course and swarmed toward the Devastator. They fired their weapons at the massive vessel, creating impressive light shows, but doing little real damage. The point was not to destroy the ship, but to make the alien commander think that was the plan. While the aliens focused their attention on defending their flagship, other human forces attacked their supply ships and support vessels. These ships had lighter defenses and were easier to destroy, but they were also essential for keeping the alien fleet operational. Dr. Min-Su activated the next phase of his weapons from his underground laboratory. Solar energy collectors that had been charging for hours now focused their power into devastating beam weapons. "Solar Lance batteries are fully charged," his technician reported. "Target the enemy dreadnoughts. Full power." Beams of concentrated solar energy struck 3 alien dreadnoughts simultaneously. These weapons used the sun itself as an energy source, making them far more powerful than anything the aliens had encountered. The massive alien ships, which had seemed invincible moments before, were cut in half by the focused starlight. Fleet. Commander Vex Nara watched in horror as 3 of his most powerful vessels were destroyed in seconds. The humans were using weapons that turned the solar system itself into a weapon. "How are they doing this?" he shouted at his science officer. "I don't know, sir. They're using principles of physics we don't understand. Their weapons seem to manipulate gravity, solar energy, and quantum fields simultaneously." Vex Nara realized that everything the Galactic Council believed about human technology was wrong. These creatures were not primitive at all. They had developed completely different approaches to warfare that made traditional military tactics useless. "Sir, we've lost over 100 ships," his tactical officer reported. "The fleet is taking catastrophic casualties. We should consider withdrawing to regroup." For the first time in his career, Fleet Commander Vex Nara considered retreat. But his pride would not let him admit that the mighty Ninth Fleet could be defeated by any enemy, especially not by creatures the Galactic Council considered inferior. "All ships continue the attack," he ordered. "We will crush these humans with sheer numbers." It was the worst decision he could have made. Fleet Commander Vex Nara was studying his tactical display when his sensor officer suddenly looked up with confusion on his face. "Sir, I'm detecting new contacts approaching from the outer system," the officer reported. "More human ships?" Vex Nara asked with frustration. He had already lost over 100 vessels to these surprisingly dangerous creatures. "Yes, sir, but these are different. They're larger than the fighter swarms, and they're coming from multiple directions at once." Vex Nara looked at the display and felt his blood turn cold. Dozens of new human ships were approaching from the darkness beyond Pluto, but these vessels looked nothing like the primitive ships his intelligence reports had described. Captain Boram stood on the bridge of her flagship, the New Horizon. Her ship was one of 50 vessels that had been secretly built in the outer reaches of the solar system over the past 20 years. These ships and their crews represented humanity's greatest secret. "All ships, this is Captain Boram," she announced, over the fleet communication system. "We are finally going home. Let's show these aliens what Earth's children can do." Boram had been born on a space station near Neptune. She had never set foot on Earth, but she had spent her entire life preparing for this moment. Her crew was made up of men and women who had grown up in zero gravity, trained from childhood to fight in the vacuum of space. The approaching human ships moved with a grace that seemed impossible to the watching aliens. They changed direction, without visible thruster burns, accelerated without apparent engines, and maintained perfect formation despite traveling at incredible speeds. "How are they moving like that?" Vexnara's tactical officer asked in bewilderment. Dr. Minsu smiled as he watched the new arrivals from his control center on Earth. The Deep Space Fleet represented the culmination of human engineering genius. These ships used gravitational drives that could manipulate space-time itself, allowing them to move in ways that defied conventional physics. "The outer fleet is in position," his assistant reported. "All ships report ready for combat operations." "Excellent. Signal them to begin Phase 3. Captain Boram received the signal and immediately put her fleet into action. "All ships, execute encirclement protocol. Show these invaders they have nowhere to run." The Deep Space Fleet split into multiple groups that moved to surround the alien fleet completely. The aliens suddenly found themselves trapped in the middle of the solar system, with human forces on all sides. But the real surprise came when Sergeant Wu Jin's boarding teams began their most daring operations yet. The Marines who had been fighting inside alien ships were joined by new troops who possessed abilities the aliens could never have imagined. Lieutenant Sang Ho had been born and raised on a mining station in the asteroid belt. He had spent his entire life in low gravity and could move through zero-gravity environments like a fish through water. His bones were denser than normal humans, his reflexes were faster, and his spatial awareness was perfect. "Boarding Team 7 is inside the alien cruiser," Sang Ho reported as he led his squad through the enemy vessel's corridors. The alien crew tried to stop them, but the spaceborne humans moved in ways that confused and terrified their enemies. They could push off walls, ceilings, and bulkheads to change direction instantly. They could fit through spaces that seemed too small and attack from angles the aliens never expected. "These humans are not normal," an alien soldier reported over their communication system. "They move like they belong in space more than on a planet." Sang Ho smiled grimly as he heard the intercepted alien transmission. That was exactly right. He and his fellow spaceborne humans did belong in space more than on any planet. They were humanity's answer to the galaxy's threats. On the alien flagship, chaos was spreading as more boarding teams infiltrated critical systems. Fleet Commander Vex Nara watched helplessly as his ships reported internal attacks that his crews couldn't stop. "Sir, the humans are inside 17 of our vessels," his communications officer reported. "They're attacking our engines, weapons systems, and command centers. Our security teams can't catch them." "How is that possible?" "Our ships have internal defenses designed to stop boarding parties." "These humans seem to know our ship designs better than we do, sir. They're using maintenance tunnels and emergency systems that even our own crews rarely access." Captain Yu Jin coordinated the spaceborne fighter squadrons from her mobile command center. These pilots had advantages that even her Earth-trained crews couldn't match. They had been flying in three-dimensional space since they could walk, and their understanding of orbital mechanics was instinctive. "Dragon Squadron, execute the Spiral of Death," Yu Jin ordered. 20 fighters began a complex maneuver that used the gravitational fields of multiple planets simultaneously. They accelerated toward the alien fleet in a spiraling pattern that made it impossible for enemy weapons to track them. To the aliens, it looked like the human fighters were breaking the laws of physics. They seemed to gain speed without thrust, change direction without momentum, and coordinate their movements with impossible precision. Pilot Hyo Sung had grown up on a station orbiting Jupiter. The massive planet's gravity had shaped his entire understanding of spaceflight. He could use gravitational slingshots and orbital mechanics like tools, turning the solar system itself into his ally. "This is Dragon 7. Hyo Sung reported as he dove toward an alien destroyer. Beginning gravity-assisted attack run. His fighter used Jupiter's gravitational field to accelerate to incredible speeds. The alien ship tried to track him, but his trajectory curved and twisted in ways their computers couldn't predict. When he fired his weapons, the enemy's point defenses were aimed at empty space. Dr. Jae Sung activated the most powerful weapons humanity had ever built. Deep space installations that had been hidden in the darkness beyond Neptune now revealed themselves. These platforms had been gathering energy for decades, preparing for this moment. Deep strike platforms are online, his technician reported. All weapons show ready status. Target the alien dreadnoughts. We end this now. Beams of pure energy struck the remaining alien capital ships from impossible ranges. The weapons traveled faster than light itself, making them impossible to dodge or intercept. 4 massive dreadnoughts simply vanished, their molecules scattered across space. Fleet Commander Vex Nara stared at his tactical display in complete disbelief. Half of his fleet was gone. The ships that remained were either damaged or being torn apart by internal attacks, and still more human forces kept appearing from hiding places throughout the solar system. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from the Galactic Council," his communications officer reported. "Put it through." The image of a Tal Vera council member appeared on the screen. "Fleet Commander Vex Nara, report your status. Our sensors detect significant energy signatures from your location." Vex Nara looked around his damaged bridge. Emergency lights flickered, and smoke filled the air from damaged systems. His proud uniform was torn and stained. "Council member, we have encountered unexpected resistance. The humans are not as primitive as our intelligence suggested." "Explain." "They possess weapons and tactics we have never encountered. They fight with no honor, no formations, no predictable strategies. They attack from all directions at once, and they seem to know our weaknesses better than we do." The council member looked skeptical. "Are you telling me that the mighty Ninth Fleet is being defeated by primitive creatures?" Vex Nara wanted to deny it, but the evidence was all around him. "Council member, I request immediate reinforcements. Send the Second and Third Fleets to assist us." "Negative. You have 800 ships against 50 primitive vessels. Complete your mission, Fleet Commander. Do not embarrass the Galactic Council with your failures." The transmission ended, leaving Vex Nara alone with his dying fleet. Captain Boram watched the battle from her flagship and knew the moment had come for the final phase. The alien fleet was trapped, weakened, and confused. Now it was time to finish them. "All ships, this is Captain Boram. Prepare for total victory. These aliens thought they could destroy our home. Show them what happens when they threaten Earth's children." The human fleet moved in for the kill, and Fleet Commander Vex Nara finally understood the terrible truth. The humans had never been primitive. They had been preparing for this war for decades, developing weapons and tactics specifically designed to defeat technologically superior enemies. And now, the trap was closing. General Haewon stood in the underground command center and watched the tactical display with satisfaction. The alien fleet that had come to destroy Earth was now trapped in the solar system like animals in a cage. It was time to implement the final phase of humanity's plan. "All sector commanders, this is General Haewon," she announced over the communication system. "Execute Terran reversal. We are no longer defending. We are now hunting." Across the solar system, human forces received new orders. Instead of protecting Earth and waiting for alien attacks, they would now pursue and destroy every enemy vessel. The hunters had become the hunted. Captain Subin led a squadron of stealth ships that had been hidden in the outer asteroid belt. Her vessels were designed for one purpose: to hunt down enemy ships that tried to escape the battle zone. "Shadow Squadron, we have multiple alien ships attempting to flee toward the edge of the system," she reported. "They're running scared." "Understood, Shadow Squadron," came the reply from command. "Permission granted to pursue and destroy. No alien ship leaves this system." Captain Subin smiled coldly. "You heard the orders. Let's go hunting." Her stealth ships activated their cloaking systems and disappeared from all sensors. They moved through space like invisible ghosts, tracking the fleeing alien vessels. The aliens had no idea they were being followed. Fleet Commander Vex Nara tried desperately to maintain control of his collapsing fleet. More than half of his ships were destroyed or disabled, and the survivors were scattered across the solar system. Some captains were trying to retreat, while others fought hopeless battles against overwhelming human forces. "Sir, we need to withdraw and regroup," his second officer urged. "We can return with reinforcements." Vex Nara knew his officer was right, but his pride would not let him admit defeat. The Ninth Fleet had never retreated from any enemy. How could he explain to the Galactic Council that humans had defeated them? "Send word to all ships," he ordered. "Fight to the last vessel. We will not give these primitives the satisfaction of victory." Dr. Kyung-ho activated humanity's most closely guarded secret from his research facility on Mars. For 30 years, human scientists had been studying captured alien technology. They had learned to understand alien systems better than the aliens themselves. "Alien communication networks are now under our control," his chief technician reported. "We can monitor all their transmissions and even send false messages." "Excellent. Begin jamming their distress signals. I don't want any word of this battle to reach their homeworlds." Dr. Kyung-ho had discovered critical weaknesses in alien technology during his decades of research. Their communication systems used quantum encryption that seemed unbreakable, but humans had found ways to crack it by using mathematical principles the aliens had never discovered. "What about their navigation systems?" Dr. Kyung-ho asked. "We can disrupt those as well. Any alien ship that tries to jump to faster-than-light travel will find themselves lost in space instead of reaching their destination." Lieutenant Sang-min led a team of engineers who were salvaging alien technology from destroyed ships. Their job was to make sure no evidence remained that could tell other alien species what had really happened here. "Team 3, we have another wreck to process," Sang-min reported as his salvage ship approached a destroyed alien cruiser. His team moved quickly through the wreckage, collecting any technology that might be useful and destroying anything that could provide evidence of human capabilities. They used small nuclear charges to vaporize the remains, leaving nothing but scattered atoms. "Remember, we want this to look like the ship was destroyed by unknown forces," Sang-min reminded his team. "No human weapon signatures, no battle damage, patterns that could be traced back to us." Captain Yujin coordinated the final pursuit of fleeing alien vessels. Her fighters had evolved from defensive squadrons into hunter-killer groups that stalked enemy ships across the solar system. Red. "Squadron, we have 3 alien destroyers trying to hide in Saturn's rings," she reported. "They think the radiation will mask their signatures." "Copy that, Control. Red Squadron is moving to intercept." The human fighters dove into Saturn's ring system, using the ice and rock formations for cover. The alien ships tried to use the same cover to hide, but the human pilots knew this territory much better. Pilot Na Young led her flight through the glittering ice rings like a shark through water. Her instruments could track alien ships even through the electromagnetic interference that confused enemy sensors. "Contact bearing 270, she reported. "Alien destroyer trying to use ring debris as camouflage." "I see him," her wingman replied. "Moving to attack position." The human fighters struck from multiple directions at once. The alien destroyer was caught completely by surprise, trapped between the ring particles with nowhere to maneuver. It was destroyed in seconds. Sergeant Wu Jin and his Marines continued their boarding operations on surviving alien ships. But now, their mission had changed from disruption to complete capture of enemy vessels. "Boarding Team Alpha has secured the alien battlecruiser Dominator," Wu Jin reported. "Enemy crew has surrendered." "Understood, Alpha Team. Secure all alien personnel and technology. Intelligence teams are standing by." Wu Jin's Marines had become experts at capturing alien ships intact. They knew exactly where to strike to disable critical systems without destroying valuable technology. Each captured vessel provided more information about alien capabilities and weaknesses. The spaceborne Marines had advantages that made them perfect for this kind of operation. They could move through alien ships faster than the crews who built them, and they understood three-dimensional tactics better than any planet-born soldier. On the alien flagship, Fleet Commander Vex Nara watched his fleet disappear ship by ship. His communications with other vessels were being jammed, his navigation systems were malfunctioning, and human forces were closing in from all directions. "Sir, we're receiving reports from the few ships still responding," his communications officer said. "The humans are not just destroying us, they're hunting us systematically." "What do you mean?" "They seem to know exactly where each of our ships is located, even when we're hiding or cloaked. They're tracking us down one by one and destroying us with perfect precision." Vex Nara realized that the humans had been watching his fleet since the moment they entered the solar system. Every ship movement, every tactical decision, every attempt to escape had been anticipated and countered. Dr. Minsu monitored the systematic destruction of the alien fleet from his command center. Human forces were using the solar system's geography like a weapon, driving enemy ships into carefully prepared kill zones. "Status report on remaining alien vessels," he requested. 43 ships still operational, sir. All are either damaged or cut off from their fleet. Estimated time to complete elimination, 6 hours. Any ships attempting to reach the edge of the system? Several groups are trying to escape, but Shadow Squadron is intercepting them. So far, none have gotten past our outer perimeter. Dr. Minsu nodded with satisfaction. Humanity's plan was working perfectly. The aliens had walked into a trap that had been 30 years in the making, and now they were paying the price for their arrogance. Captain Boram led the final assault on the remaining alien strongholds. Her deep space fleet used their superior mobility to surround enemy formations and crush them with overwhelming firepower. "Target the alien command ships," she ordered. "Cut off their leadership and the rest will fall apart." Her ships moved in perfect coordination, using tactics that no alien military academy had ever taught. They fought like a pack of wolves, isolating enemy vessels and destroying them before help could arrive. Fleet Commander Vex Nara made one last desperate attempt to save his remaining ships. "All vessels, scatter and retreat individually, every ship for itself." But it was too late. The humans had anticipated this move as well. Small hunter groups were waiting for the aliens to break formation, ready to track down and destroy each ship individually. "Sir, it's over," his second officer said quietly. "We've lost the fleet. We've lost everything." Vexnara stared at his tactical display, watching the last symbols of his mighty fleet wink out one by one. The Ninth Fleet, which had conquered dozens of civilizations, was being systematically destroyed by creatures the Galactic Council had dismissed as primitive. For the first time in his military career, Fleet Commander Vexnara understood what it meant to be prey. Admiral Hyun Woo stood in the command center and made the decision that would change galactic history forever. On the tactical display, 31 alien ships remained scattered across the solar system. Some were damaged and drifting. Others were trying desperately to escape. A few were still fighting hopeless battles. "All sector commanders, listen carefully," Admiral Hyun-woo announced over the secure communication channel. "I am implementing Protocol Zero. No alien vessel is to leave this system. No survivors, no witnesses." The command center fell silent. Protocol Zero was the most classified order in human military doctrine. It meant complete elimination of all enemy forces with no possibility of anyone escaping to report what had happened. "Sir, are you certain?" General Hae-won asked quietly. "Once we cross this line, there's no going back." Admiral Hyun-woo looked at the tactical display showing the positions of human and alien forces. "The aliens came here to eliminate our entire species. They would have shown us no mercy. We cannot afford to let them return home with knowledge of our capabilities." He activated the communication system. "All units, you have your orders. Find every alien ship. Destroy them all." Captain Gite commanded the hunter squadrons responsible for tracking down the remaining enemy vessels. His ships were equipped with the most advanced sensors humanity had ever built, capable of detecting alien ships even when they were powered down and hiding. "Hunter 1 to all units," Captain Gite transmitted. "We have 6 alien ships hiding in the asteroid belt near Jupiter. They've powered down their engines and are trying to look like space debris." "Understood, Hunter 1, came the reply from Admiral Hyun-woo. "Eliminate them quietly. Make it look like an accident." Captain Gite smiled grimly. "Copy that, Control. Beginning silent elimination protocol." His ships moved through the asteroid belt like predators stalking prey. They used gravity weapons that could crush the alien vessels while making it appear they had been destroyed by asteroid impacts. To any future investigation, it would look like the ships had suffered navigation failures and crashed into space rocks. Engineer Hyo Jin worked frantically in her electronics warfare center. Her job was perhaps the most important of all. She had to use captured alien technology to send false reports back to the alien empire. "Status report on communication deception," Admiral Hyun-woo requested. "We have successfully infiltrated their quantum communication network," Hyo-jin replied. "I can send messages that appear to come from their own ships." "What have you told them?" "I'm sending reports that indicate the Ninth Fleet encountered a massive space anomaly near the edge of the system. Solar flares, gravitational disturbances, navigation failures. I'm making it look like they got lost in deep space." Hyo Jin had studied alien communication protocols for years. She knew exactly how their military reports were structured and what kind of language they used. Her false messages would be indistinguishable from real ones. "The alien empire will receive reports that their fleet simply vanished while exploring empty space," she continued. "There will be no indication that Earth was involved." Lieutenant Sang-min led the cleanup operations across the solar system. His teams were responsible for removing every trace of the battle that had taken place. Wreckage had to be vaporized, battle damage had to be repaired, and any evidence of human advanced technology had to be hidden. "Cleanup Team 7 reporting," Sang-min transmitted. "We finished processing the wreckage in Sector 4. All alien remains have been completely disintegrated." "What about the battle damage to our own facilities?" came the query from command. "We're making it look like routine maintenance and upgrades. Any alien surveillance that might have observed the battle will see normal human industrial activity. Sangmin's teams used molecular disintegrators to break down alien wreckage at the atomic level. The destroyed ships simply became clouds of scattered particles that would drift away into interstellar space. In a few years, there would be no evidence they had ever existed." Captain Subin continued hunting the last escaping alien vessels at the edge of the solar system. Her stealth ships had surrounded a group of 5 alien destroyers that were desperately trying to reach the jump point for faster-than-light travel. "Shadow Squadron has visual contact with the last escape group," she reported. "They're almost at the system boundary." "Do not let them escape," Admiral Hyun-woo ordered. "Use whatever force necessary." Captain Subin activated her ship's most powerful weapons. "All ships, maximum firepower. Destroy them before they can jump." The stealth ships appeared from nowhere, dropping their cloaking fields and unleashing devastating attacks on the fleeing aliens. The enemy destroyers were caught completely by surprise, their crews still trying to calculate jump coordinates when the human weapons struck. All 5 ships were destroyed simultaneously, their hulls vaporized by concentrated beam weapons. The few pieces of wreckage that remained were quickly collected and disintegrated by cleanup teams. On the alien flagship Devastator, Fleet Commander Vex Nara sat alone on his bridge. Most of his crew was dead or wounded. The ship's systems were failing one by one, and he could see human vessels closing in for the final kill. "Sir, incoming transmission from the humans," his dying communications officer reported. "Put it through." The image of Admiral Hyun-woo appeared on the screen. The human commander looked calm and professional, showing no emotion at all. "Fleet Commander Vex Nara, this is Admiral Hyun-woo of Earth Defense Command. You are the last ship remaining. Surrender and your crew will be treated according to the rules of war." Vex Nara laughed bitterly. "Rules of war? You have systematically hunted down and destroyed my entire fleet. What rules of war are you following?" "The same rules you intended to follow when you came here to eliminate our species," Admiral Hyun-woo replied coldly. "The difference is that we are better at it than you are." Vex Nara looked around his ruined bridge. Emergency lighting cast strange shadows on the walls, and smoke filled the air from damaged systems. He had commanded the most powerful fleet in the galaxy, and now he was the only one left alive. "What do you want from me?" he asked. "Information. Tell us about your empire's military capabilities, and we will make your death quick." "And if I refuse?" Admiral Hyun-woo's expression never changed. "Then we will capture your ship, extract the information from your computers, and make your death very slow." Dr. Kyung-ho monitored the final interrogation from his research facility. His teams had already extracted massive amounts of data from captured alien vessels. They now knew more about alien technology and military doctrine than most alien commanders. "We have complete technical specifications for all alien ship types," he reported to Admiral Hyun-woo. "We know their weapon systems, their defensive capabilities, and their tactical doctrines. What about their homeworld locations?" "We have star charts showing the positions of major alien colonies and military bases. This information will be invaluable for future defensive planning." Dr. Kyung-ho had spent his career studying alien technology, but the amount of information captured during this battle exceeded his wildest expectations. Humanity now possessed intelligence that would give them enormous advantages in any future conflicts. Fleet Commander Vex Nara finally realized that resistance was futile. His ship was surrounded. His crew was dead, and the humans clearly had the ability to capture him alive if they chose to. "I will tell you what you want to know," he said finally. "But answer me one question first. How long have you been preparing for this war?" Admiral Hyun-woo considered the question. "Since the moment we learned we were not alone in the galaxy, we knew that someone would eventually come to test us. We wanted to be ready. The Galactic Council believes you are primitive creatures. They have no idea what you are capable of." "Good," Admiral Hyun-woo replied. "We prefer it that way." 20 minutes later, the Devastator exploded in a brilliant flash of light. The last ship of the mighty Ninth Fleet was gone, taking all its secrets with it. Engineer Hyo-jin sent the final false report to the alien empire. Ninth Fleet reporting final transmission. Massive gravitational anomaly detected. All ships lost. No survivors. Cause unknown. The message traveled across space at faster than light speeds, carrying the lie that would hide humanity's victory. The alien empire would never know that their most powerful fleet had been destroyed by the creatures they considered primitive. Admiral Hyun-woo looked at the tactical display one last time. The solar system was empty of alien contacts. 847 enemy ships had entered the system. 0 had escaped. "Status report on cleanup operations," he requested. "All alien wreckage has been eliminated," Lieutenant Sang-min reported. "No evidence remains of the battle." "What about our own casualties?" "Minimal losses, sir. 12 ships destroyed, 43 damaged. Total human casualties, 87 killed, 215 wounded." Admiral Hyun-woo nodded with satisfaction. Humanity had faced the galaxy's most powerful fleet and achieved total victory while suffering almost no losses. The aliens had underestimated human capabilities so completely that they never had a real chance. "All units return to hidden positions," he ordered. "Resume standard defensive postures. Make it look like nothing happened here." Across the solar system, human forces began to disappear back into their hiding places. Advanced. 6 months after the battle, Ambassador So-min walked through the corridors of the Galactic Council chambers once again. The massive space station orbited a neutral star system, serving as the meeting place for dozens of alien species. Today felt different from her last visit. The aliens who had once looked at her with contempt now seemed nervous and uncertain. The council chamber was filled with representatives from across the galaxy. Tall, elegant Tal Vera with their silver skin. Massive armored Corvani with their battle scars. Dozens of other species, all more technologically advanced than humanity was supposed to be. "The session will come to order," announced the Tal Vera council leader. "We are here to discuss the mysterious disappearance of the Ninth Fleet." So-min took her seat in the section reserved for primitive species. Around her sat representatives from worlds that the major powers considered unimportant. She listened carefully as the discussion began. "It has been 6 months since we lost contact with Fleet Commander Vex Nara and his ships, the Corvani military," Representative reported. "Our best scientists have analyzed all available data, but we cannot determine what happened to them." The Tal Vera leader looked troubled. The Ninth Fleet was investigating reports of primitive threats in the outer territories. Their last transmission indicated they were examining an uninhabited system near the edge of Corvani space. So-min kept her expression neutral, but inside she was smiling. The lies that Engineer Hyo-jin had sent were working perfectly. The aliens believed their fleet had been lost in empty space far from Earth. What could destroy an entire fleet without leaving any trace? asked the representative from the Zephyrian Collective. Perhaps they encountered a spatial anomaly, suggested the Corvani scientist. There are regions of space where gravitational distortions can tear ships apart at the molecular level. Or maybe they were attacked by something we don't understand, added the military commander. There are still unexplored regions of the galaxy. Who knows what dangers lurk in the darkness? So-Min listened to their theories with growing satisfaction. These powerful alien species were terrified by the unknown fate of their most powerful fleet. They were jumping at shadows, afraid of threats they couldn't identify or understand. On Earth, Dr. Min-Su worked in his laboratory, which had returned to its peaceful appearance. The advanced weapons had been hidden away, and the facility looked like a simple research center again. But the work continued in secret, using the technology captured from the alien fleet. Status report on project advancement, Dr. Min-Su requested from his research team. We've successfully reverse-engineered the alien faster-than-light drives, his chief engineer reported. Our new ships will be twice as fast as anything in the alien fleet. What about their weapons technology? We've improved on their designs significantly. The alien weapons were powerful but inefficient. Our versions are 30% more effective while using half the energy. Dr. Min-Su nodded with satisfaction. Humanity was not just studying alien technology. They were improving it. In a few years, human ships would be superior to anything the aliens possessed, while still appearing primitive to external observation. Captain Yu Jin trained new pilots at the secret base on the far side of the moon. The pilots who had fought in the battle were now instructors, teaching the next generation the tactics that had proven so effective against the alien fleet. Remember, the key to defeating a superior enemy is to fight in ways they don't expect, Yu Jin explained to her students. The aliens think in terms of formation flying and direct confrontation. We think in terms of swarm tactics and asymmetrics warfare. Her students were eager young men and women who had grown up hearing stories of the great victory. They trained constantly, preparing for the day when more alien fleets might threaten Earth. What if the aliens learn our tactics and develop countermeasures? One student asked. Yu Jin smiled. Then we develop new tactics. The advantage of being underestimated is that the enemy never stops making the same mistakes. In the deep space, monitoring stations scattered throughout the solar system, human technicians listened to alien communications from across the galaxy. They had learned to decode alien languages and were gathering intelligence on military movements and political developments. Lieutenant Tae-hyun, who had first detected the approaching Ninth Fleet, now coordinated these intelligence operations. From his hidden base near Pluto, we're intercepting increased military communications from the Corvani Empire, he reported to Earth Command. They're mobilizing additional fleets for defensive purposes. Defensive against what? Came the reply from Admiral Hyun-woo. Unknown threats. They're apparently concerned about the possibility of other powerful enemies in unexplored space. The loss of the Ninth Fleet has made them paranoid. Admiral Hyun-woo smiled grimly. The aliens were preparing to defend against imaginary threats, while the real danger sat quietly in the Sol system, watching and learning. Back in the Galactic Council chambers, the debate about the missing fleet continued. Ambassador So-Min listened as the aliens discussed their fears and theories. Perhaps we should send another fleet to investigate, suggested the Talvera military commander. To where? Replied the Corvani representative. We don't know where the Ninth Fleet was lost. They could have been anywhere in a 1,000-light-year radius. What about increasing patrols in primitive sectors? Asked another council member. Maybe the threat came from one of the undeveloped worlds. So-Min felt a moment of tension. If the aliens decided to investigate primitive worlds more carefully, they might eventually focus on Earth again. That seems unnecessary, the Talvera leader said dismissively. Our intelligence reports show that primitive species lack the technology to threaten our fleets. The Ninth Fleet was probably destroyed by some natural phenomenon. So Min relaxed. The aliens' own arrogance was protecting humanity. They simply could not believe that primitive creatures could pose a real threat to their advanced military forces. On Earth, Director Yunji sat in her command center, monitoring communications from across the galaxy. Her technicians had become experts at intercepting and analyzing alien transmissions. They knew more about galactic politics than most alien governments. "Ma'am, we're picking up interesting chatter from the hegemony of suns," her communications officer reported. "They're discussing expansion plans toward the Outer Rim territories." "How close to our sector?" Director Yunji asked. "They're looking at systems about 50 light-years from here. Nothing immediate, but they're definitely expanding in our direction." Director Yunji made a note in her files. Humanity would need to prepare for eventual contact with the hegemony. The longer they could maintain their facade of primitive isolation, the better prepared they would be when the next test came. Dr. Kyung-ho analyzed the vast amount of data captured from the alien fleet. His teams had extracted complete databases containing information about alien technology, military doctrine, and political structures. "We now have detailed intelligence on 47 alien species," he reported to the Defense Council. "We know their strengths, weaknesses, and likely responses to various scenarios." "What about their numbers?" General Haiwan asked. "The galaxy contains approximately 237 spacefaring civilizations. Most are members of various political alliances or empires. The three major powers are the Talvera Confederation, the Corvani Empire, and the Hegemony of Suns." General Haiwan studied the intelligence reports with interest. "How do they compare to the Ninth Fleet in terms of military capability?" The Ninth Fleet was considered elite, but it was only one of 12 such fleets in the galaxy. The major powers each possess military forces several times larger than what we faced. The implications were sobering. Humanity had won a great victory, but they were still vastly outnumbered by the combined alien forces in the galaxy. "Then we continue building our strength in secret," General Haiwan decided. "The longer we remain hidden, the better our chances when the real war begins." Captain Bo-Ram commanded the expanding Deep Space Fleet from her flagship in the outer system. New ships were being built in hidden shipyards beyond Neptune, using improved technology developed from captured alien systems. "Construction report," she requested from her chief engineer. 12 new vessels will be completed within 6 months, he replied. "Each one is more advanced than anything we had during the last battle. We're also beginning construction of our first true capital ships." "What about the colony projects?" 3 secret colonies are now established in nearby star systems. "If Earth is ever threatened again, humanity will survive even if our homeworld is destroyed." Captain Bo-Ram looked out at the stars and thought about the future. Humanity was no longer confined to one planet. They were slowly, quietly spreading across the galaxy, establishing hidden bases and secret colonies that no alien species knew existed. Engineer Hyo-Jin continued her work maintaining the deception that had hidden humanity's victory. Her false reports about the Ninth Fleet's fate had been accepted completely by the alien empires. "Status report on communication deception protocols," Admiral Hyun-woo requested during his weekly briefing. "All alien intelligence services believe the Ninth Fleet was lost to unknown natural phenomena. Hyojin reported. They've stopped investigating and classified it as a